Okay. Apparently, we are live, and we need to explain what on earth is happening today because it's not pretty, folks. It's not pretty. And
Nope.
Paul, would you like to start us off and explain what started happening, and then maybe we can tell the story of this stream?
Kat, I'd be delighted to dive in and just explore the topic called audio and what a train wreck it can be. So here's the thing. Don't ever, ever change your outputs because if you do, you will never be able to get back. You remember how Hansel and Gretel could like find their way home a couple times until they were ultimately lost completely?
Yep, I do.
No, audio is worse. You get lost the first time, there are no breadcrumbs. It there is no house of candy. This story is losing its connection. But the point is, don't ever
Find
change
your
your
way
audio
back. Find your way back to the story and what happened.
back. Oh. Hey everybody.
And can I
So
ask for those of you in here, just because, so full disclosure, we are using a totally different setup, which you might notice. And
mhm.
I'm just wondering, audio wise, how is our audio? Is one of us, like is Paul or myself, was one of us much louder? Because I am spitballing here.
Oh, and I'm
uh,
screaming to the microphone out of anger. So that
Wait,
might
what's
change.
that, Paul? Do I sound like I'm screaming?
No, I'm screaming into the
Oh,
microphone.
guys, this is out of control. Okay, so first, thank you. Okay, and Andy has said the audio is good. So basically, Paul's audio was not working with us. So myself and our lovely guest, we could not hear him. He could hear us, we could not hear him. And every
Mhm.
week, what we do is call into VMix, and Paul runs the entire production. And at the last, oh, okay, a little bit louder. Maybe I can do this a little, maybe.
A little
At
bit
the last
louder,
moment,
louder now. I think that's
maybe if I just stop screaming, that might help. So at the last minute, we made the pivot, and this is now the Ecamm interview feature, but I didn't have the overlays, I didn't have the title slide, I didn't have the countdown timer, even though I made it. It's on my computer somewhere. Not set up, scenes are not set up, my Stream Deck's not set up, and I
I like
didn't
it.
play with the audio.
It looks great. I like it.
So I did make this overlay was actually just me testing out overlays today in Keynote, and I just thought I would play around, and this is totally a tester. It was not meant to be seen by anyone today. I literally made it about half an hour ago. I did not make the trio, so when we bring in our lovely guest, you're not going to see any overlays because, hey, tech, we're just showing up. We are deciding to share about all of this fun stuff. And
Mhm.
it's Andy says, "Is Paul looking around for audio?" I'm gonna check. I'm pretty sure I still can't show comments when I use a stream key, and that is still correct. Okay, so folks, you're not gonna see the comments. You're not
Nope.
gonna see the
We're trying to
fun
read the
little.
comments to
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
And
We can.
Andy, you're absolutely right. I hang my audio cables much like vines in a jungle, just above me. So I can quickly reach up, grab them, and swing away.
So there's no title slide today. Now, Paul, what do we want to try playing a little bit of music to intro, or just maybe not go there because of what happened when we tried it?
Um, I can try to beatbox it.
Hey, you know what we haven't?
Welcome to the show. Graphics, wheel turn, faces.
Um, awesome. I was just thinking though we haven't had any baby rap yet, so that's still outstanding. That at some point we need a little bit of Paul baby rap. I think that
Sure,
was 2 or 3
absolutely.
episodes ago, maybe, that you promised the people.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I did. But out of all the days to offer baby rap, this would not be it.
no,
I
this is
can't
not the day.
out anything successfully.
Not the day, not the day. But I have to give ourselves props. We made a very last minute pivot and we are live now.
Mhm.
So, yay us.
Yay, us.
Do we want to do. We also do not have a graphic for the good, the bad, and the meh, but every week we do a check in. So maybe do we want to do a very quick check in? And I think perhaps we
Sure.
can both agree that right now is the bad.
Well, why don't we do this? I'll make the gunshot sounds, and then why don't you read the title of the good, the bad, and the meh? Does that sound good?
Do you think you can show it on yours? Like, are you bringing in your VMix or are you just straight up on the internet?
Oh, this is just straight
Okay.
up me. This is
Okay.
me, microphone, camera, nothing
Okay.
except for that
So
expensive
you're just
equipment.
going to make some gunshot noises and I just say the good, the bad, and the
Welcome to
meh.
improv. Pew 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 pew.
There we go. Okay. We're done.
Gunshots.
So, Paul,
How
how was your
stressed are
last
you
week
right
of
now?
streaming?
How stressed are you right now?
I just, un petit peu. That's a little French for you. Just a little bit. Un
Oh,
petit peu.
a petit peu.
Yeah, a little stressed.
Would you like more butter with that bread, sir? A petit peu, please. Cool. Great.
It's funny that you chose butter. Are you a Wonder Years fan?
Oh yeah, I love Wonder
Like,
Years.
voulez-vous du beurre? That is from Wonder Years when the only thing he knows how to say in French is would you like some butter? And I see Matt, best show ever. That's great. There's a little bit of love for the Wonder Years. And also you heard my horrendous French accent there.
Better than mine. Oh, how you doing? Good to see you. That's what I do. So
It's great.
now that we've got French American relations back with that terrible accent.
So how was your week?
Oh, it's been great. Um, it's been a really good week actually. Last night I did what I promised. I promised to go live without doing it in the studio, and I did it just out by the fire pit. That was great. It was really fun. It was nice to connect with people in a different way, outside, just hanging out. It was very unique, and I just left the camera on the fire pit, and for an hour we just kind of hung out and talked, and it was like sitting around, um, and I was talking, but it was really nice just to read what people wrote. That was wonderful. It was fun.
That's really nice. I think that is a wonderful idea. And is that something that you think you might keep doing?
Start fires? Absolutely.
Fireside chats. Also, yes, I am so stressed that I'm tearing up from laughing at myself, and my mascara is actively running on this live stream. So that's a thing.
I'm wearing clear mascara, so you can't see it.
Oh, wait, Paul, I think you just froze. Did you freeze? Yeah. Okay. You're a little frozen.
You probably still hear me, correct?
I'm hearing you. You're just a little muffled.
Just everything today is going badly. Here's what's going to happen. Well, thank God it's at least a frozen image that isn't appalling.
It's a nice image to freeze on. That is a good
Yeah,
frame, as Matt is saying as well.
because we're doing this at 60 frames a second, right? So that eat cam could have frozen on a lot of bad images.
It sure could have. Okay, and this is the part where Kat doesn't know how to pivot gently or like properly. How do I? Yeah, the marble jar. The marble jar is filling quickly. I'm gonna do a quick pivot just to give Paul a second. Do you want to, if you can hear me, Paul? Do you want to disconnect and reconnect? Because I've seen Luria do that with
So
her
here's the thing.
guests.
I am trying to disconnect and reconnect, and literally, guys, if you've ever thought, "Oh, I can't do live streaming. I don't have the technology or skills," look at us. We're doing it. We're making it work.
Yeah, this is this is
We're living the
wonderful.
dream.
Um, yeah, this is the very last minute you can take over. Paul. Okay, so Paul has now officially disconnected, folks. This is a play-by-play, and he will come back in. And yes, Andy, this is great for your confidence. Anyone can go live. Also, I have to share that today was the first day that I publicly decided to share with my timeline on Facebook. I hadn't really talked too much. I thought only live streamers want to hear about this. And then I told everyone to come and watch today, and it's a train wreck.
Or is it what we both needed? A chance to just get real and not get consumed with tech.
Yeah, let's just get real. Let's.
Yep.
So I think, based on how this is going, I am going to suggest we bring on our guest and just get right into the good stuff, because Lord knows how long this feed will actually last. And yes, Andy, relaxed cat, that it was you I was referencing today in my post. So let's, without further ado, bring in CK, our wonderful guest, and let's see if this works. Yes.
Hey, how are you?
So wait, was that Paul or CK who brought
that was
in
me.
music? Oh, smart! She brought her own music, folks. This is amazing.
Best guest ever. You bring your own equipment.
Yeah.
It's like you brought a dinner over. We invited you over to hang out, and you're like, I brought a 7-course meal.
I was saying, okay, I'm gonna try something. That's. I'm not gonna lie, that built-in applause is kind of weak sauce. So, it's not as good as Paul's applause. All right. So, our guest is CK. She came with her own entrance music, which is fantastic. So, Paul, do you want to, let's kick off this interview portion, shall we? I'm totally throwing you under the bus right now.
No, throw away. I'm happy under the bus. CK, first, happy Veterans Day. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Good timing.
For anybody who does not know, can you tell us a little bit about, if you don't mind, like what branch you served in, and a little bit information about that?
I served in the Navy, still do. I have 19 years in, retiring next year. And as an officer, I just do a lot of paperwork, administrative stuff. So not really fun and exciting.
But still important work. It's all part of the bigger picture. Nice.
Yeah.
How did you get into live streaming? Did you just...
Good question. Thank you to the lovely pandemic, actually. Literally, I got sent home from work like mid-March, and I saw like all my friends on Facebook, stressing about being sent home, their kids being homeschooling and all that stuff. And I just opened up my laptop and I just went live. And it was just the pure chance just to kind of give some people some like sanity and let them know everything's going to be okay. And I just decided then, like during the live stream, I'm like, you know what? I'll do this every day. Come on here and just entertain you guys. And that lasted for 100 days. And pretty much until beginning of June, I think. And then I took a break, took a pause, and then I started back up in July. But yeah, that's how it started. It literally was just it was a whim. That's how it all started.
I had no idea about that. You did 100 days just to pop on and help people and entertain them and give them something to do?
Yeah, so I started streaming twice a day. I did like at 11 in the morning, and then again like in the evening time frame around like 7 or 8 at night. And Lego had come out with like a 30-day like building challenge on Legos. So I said, hey guys, anyone who has kids, or if you want to build Legos with me, here's the 30-day challenge. And then I did every day. I showed them what I built, and then my friends sent in like their pictures of their kids, what they built. I said, hey, just tell me what you want me to do. Balloon animals. I'm like, guess what? I know how to do balloon animals. So let me know if that's something's interesting to you. People want me to do like sidewalk chalk paintings on the sidewalk. And so I just started just buying random stuff on Amazon to entertain people. That's what happened.
What? Really? That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I just want to jump in and say that is very cool. However, I do need to just give a buffer, no pun intended, that I am getting a warning from YouTube. but YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So be warned, there might be some buffering because, of course. So I just want everyone to know that. I don't know if it's happened. I haven't heard anyone comment yet that they have some buffering, but just I'm putting it out there. We're going to keep on interviewing. We're going to keep going. We're probably going to have CK back for a proper episode, but this is happening. This is... And I do want to say, yes, it kind of looks like I have a name on my shirt, but yeah. Okay. Oh, hey, it went away. It says stream status is excellent, so maybe we're good. Nope, error again. Okay. Just, it is what it is. I've totally derailed us. I am so sorry.
What if what we're offering people is an experience in our shoes? So I think we're all 90s kids, correct?
What do you mean by that?
Well, we were born, Paul and I know were born in the 80s, but like grew up like in the 90s.
I was born in 81, but we grew up in the 90s.
Correct. I was born in the 70s, but yes.
But you grew up in the 90s.
Grew up in the, yes.
So there was a time period over the 90s.
Listen, what I'm saying is, CK, you did not time travel from 89 to 2000. You lived in that decade, correct?
I did, yeah. I was in college for some of that time.
Cool. So what we're giving people right now is an experience what it looked like to be online in the 90s. Garbage quality in terms of resolution. So there you go. That my almost talking was just to say we're putting people in the year 1999 right now with resolution and streaming that's pretty rough.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's not like we have that phone line like crackle, and it's not like you're trying to load a page with a picture on it in the 90s, because that was a lot of fun, just waiting to see the picture load so slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've seen, Andy, you can always tell LSP students from their streams. Oh, I thought you were going to say this. We are embarrassed to be students of LSP from this stream. But anyhow, okay.
Ouch.
All I'm saying is let's this Friday get a stream review, because I think we got it.
They will not ask us if they can use that. I don't think. I'm just guessing. And hi, John JV. Thanks for joining us. Okay, I have derailed us completely. I would like to get back to CK. So maybe Paul, help us out. Let us get back on track with our conversation.
I do think the 90s did help a lot of us learn the value of anticipation through downloading pictures.
Yeah.
You couldn't race it. You couldn't force it. You had to just be patient. Patience. We learned it. Anyways. CK. So you did a couple streams. What was your favorite? So like when you started streaming, were you paying attention to the number of people watching? Were you just kind of interested in like bringing joy to people? Like what was the thing that kept you doing it? Because 100 days is a lot of days, and twice a day is a lot.
Yeah, twice a day got to me. Like I think I managed twice a day for a good month. And then and I think that's just because I had like the motivation, and you know, that was the first month in quarantine. So I was like all like, okay, I'm not gonna stay in bed all day, I'm not gonna lounge around. And then I realized that we're gonna be in quarantine for a long time. And then all of a sudden I decided that apparently it changed time right now because my lights just changed on me. So anyways, that's what that happened. Yeah. So I just decided to eventually just cut it to one, because it was honestly getting to be too much for me, even though I was home all day alone with me and the dog. It was still like, because I was starting to like have the idea of like, okay, what am I going to talk about? So I had to think of content, and that actually became like almost stressful for me. So I just like, you know what, let's just cut this down to once a day. People wanted it. People were like, hey, when are you going on? And I wasn't really necessarily consistent so much on my time. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'll be on at 8 or 9. Sometimes I'd be like, okay, I made it in just under like midnight, so I can still count it as consecutive days. But I think for me, the satisfying part is just like getting to see like the comments when people were commenting on my Facebook, like the lives. and just being able to like connect with other people like going through similar things. Like I don't have kids, so I'm not like raising kids, I'm not trying to do homeschooling or work at the same time. And my friends were basically connecting online and having those conversations when I'd mentioned something where I said, oh hey, a friend of mine just recently went through this, how are you dealing with this? And then people just started commenting, and their own conversation basically was happening within the chat, which I really like enjoyed.
That's cool. Kat?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll tell you. So CK, let me ask you this, because right now my brain is so consumed with trying to figure out my tech issue earlier that it suddenly thought it knew the solution, and my brain was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do that thing? Have you found yourself when you're streaming consumed with something else, or are you pretty good about focusing in the moment on what you're doing? Because I'm trying to get better at that, but boy,
It's a
I'm not.
very, very topical question.
I want to say like before like I really got into LSP and like actual streaming, getting vmix and all the other stuff. It was just like I just hit the go live button on my my laptop or whatever, and it was just a webcam and my microphone, and I didn't really like whatever. And then I started adding additional stuff, getting somewhat a little bit more complicated, and then I started running into tech issues, and I'm like, okay, folks, hold on. I think at first it was more like comical, but now I feel like, okay, I've been doing this for a while. I should be better at this. So yeah, there are definitely times where I'm like, oh, I totally like after the stream, it's more like, man, I was more focused on what was happening than not really what I was trying to say. And I think it's just a matter of part of it, I think, is being maybe all three of us kind of like perfectionists. We want to be better at what we're doing. But in the same hand, as we get more experience and we do get better, we start to add a little bit more complicated stuff. And then we now are focusing on those things when they go wrong, and not so much on maybe like the content that we're putting out, if that makes sense.
Well, sorry, Paul. I was just going to say, because you were talking about how you want to add things, sometimes it gets more complicated. We can have those problems. I'm just curious, something we always like to talk to our guests about is what was sort of the biggest mindset shift that you have had to make when it comes to live streaming?
Along the lines of adding stuff, like the mindset shift, or
just like along the way, because you've shared a bit about your experience and how it started, and that you've started to kind of add things on, and you might get frustrated with perfection and whatnot. So what are some of the things that have helped you throughout this process, like these little different ways of thinking or your perspective that have helped you to continue with the live streaming experience?
Well, definitely like this group, being, part of LSP and just learning from everybody, watching other people's streams, having that community that we're kind of in as streamers, sharing, our wins, our frustrations, and even like the tech help amongst, each other, whether we're using vmix or StreamYard or Ecamm or you name the system or software. I think a lot of it's just a huge learning curve, but I mean, I think we're all getting better. I mean, based off of us being fairly new streamers and everything. It's just, yeah. I mean, basically, I guess that's how I kind of make my shift is more of, okay, now that I've decided to like do this like consistently, and now it's more about like making sure that I am putting out like good content and just making small like little tweaks here and there. Whether it's just like maybe, the next thing I do is maybe mess with like stream elements and start adding that, or maybe it's working on my overlays one week or whatever it is. It's just making those like small minor changes, just to make it just a little bit better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Last night, you were so helpful, and I didn't tell you this. I mean, I alluded to it in the comments. So I put on Facebook I was going to go live, and I was going to go by the fire pit, and you helped me so much because I was so fixated on somehow doing it through vmix that when you said oh, just grab a webcam and connect it to YouTube. It literally was like this weird blinders on my eyes were taken off. And I was like, oh, yeah, I don't need all the complex stuff. So thank you. That helped me so much. I was so strangely fixated in accomplishing this task in this one way and making it so difficult. And so just your simple like approach was hugely helpful. So thanks.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That's yeah. And I mean, I've thought about that too. Like, how am I going to do YouTube? Because I don't have enough like subscribers, right? Like, so I can't technically do mobile. And I'm like, well, as long as I take the camera or whatever it is and bring it as an input, and just as long as I'm on a laptop or something that's a PC like device, that's how I get around that. And then I learned someone else posted those StreamYard. So I mean, there was like, I'm like, oh, there's other options around that whole like so many subs or whatever it is you need to go on your mobile phone. So
yeah, it was like a cascading waterfall of duh. Why don't I try that? Because everybody's like, try this, try that. I was like, oh yeah, what a way to do it.
Well,
anyway,
the two things that I like most about this story in particular is one is that there's a great community of people who have lots of ideas. So when you're stuck, reaching out. But then the other piece is sometimes we overcomplicate things and we just need to bring it back to basics and focus on how do I just go live and not worry about all of the other bells and whistles.
Yeah, we haven't had an overlay for the last 20 minutes, and it's delightful. It's been great. It's been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to say that we're getting some nice comments. I know I can't put them up because of the stream key, but I want to say that we are looking at it, and thank you. I know Andy's been complimentary and that we are all killing it, and today might be DOA, but you know, it's all good. And I also really, really enjoy JV's for your Emmy consideration.
I don't have
really memorable. But you know what? I hate to harp back on this, but I think that this type of episode and this type of stream that we were having, it's memorable. It sticks with you. And we're still here. So that's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about streaming is just we're all, you know, and everyone, even whether you're professional or not, you're going to have your various issues. We've seen it, you know, with other people's streams. So it's just, I think it's good to see when other people do it as well. Cause you're like, oh, okay. So it's not just me. It's not just because I'm a newbie or anything like that. And then we just kind of roll with it. And I think the more you deal with stuff like that, the better you're going to be when those things do come along anyways. So.
So can I ask you a difficult question?
Sure.
Great. Thanks. So I'm curious. And we asked you this question beforehand, just to let you know, heads up, everybody. We email all our guests the questions. But this one, a little different. Is there a video that you saw and not LSP related? That's the thing, because a lot of our guests have mentioned LSP videos, which is great. They're wonderful. Go let LSP, watch everything. But is there something else that was kind of like surprising to you that really helped you as a streamer, kind of on a tech approach or like more like a spiritual, mental approach to your live streaming? Is there anything that helped?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's all the stuff that I was Googling and searching before I even found LSP, because once I was like, okay, people are liking this, let's see what I can do to kind of like up the game. And then everyone's like, hey, we want a Cusco cam, you know, because I had a dog. And so everyone's like, hey, we want to see the dog. So then like I was trying to figure out like, okay, how do I bring another camera in? And I also didn't want to spend money on stuff. So I have a couple of GoPros because I do stand-up paddleboarding, which I usually put my GoPros on my paddle and on my board in various places. So I was like, okay, how can I bring like my GoPros into like this whole thing? And I was using OBS. So then I was like searching like, how do I use OBS? How do I bring additional cameras in? And, luckily I kind of was able to buy some like the cards to bring in your video stuff, whatever those things are called. I'm blanking on the name. But luckily, before the whole like everyone started selling out, I was able to buy a couple of those video cards, and that way I was able to bring those cameras in. So it was just like random like YouTube searches on like, how do I do this? How do I do that? I'm like, oh, okay. And then eventually I just kind of stumbled upon LSP, but it was all the other stuff leading up to that, just a matter of just Googling how do I do X, Y, and Z, and that's kind of how it all started to get like more and more in depth in what I was bringing to my streams.
Cool. Thanks. I was curious. That's awesome. Smart move to get video cards before
Yeah.
it all sold out.
Capture cards, is that the word that you were
Yes.
thinking? Yeah.
Thank you. Capture cards. Yes.
They definitely got really hard to come by during quarantine when everyone started to pivot to presenting online and running workshops online. Another question that I am curious about is if you could kind of go back in time, like time travel, to before you started, is there anything that you really wish you had known at the start that you now know?
Oh gosh, probably so much. I mean, looking at my old videos, I'm like, oh my, when I think about like, it's probably more about being professional. It's just, like, why? Oh my gosh, my framing or my camera or my lighting, all that kind of stuff. Cause it was literally just like me on my laptop, which my laptop was like below, like the camera was a little below me and it was kind of like an upshot. And I was just all those things. I'm like, ooh, that's probably not the best angle or what was I thinking and all those kind of things. But I mean, it's all part of the process though. So, it's one of those, like if I would have known it any better then, I probably wouldn't have learned the things that I've learned in the last, 6 months that I've learned now. So, so I don't know if you call that a draw or a catch-22 kind of thing. I mean, it would have been nice, but the thing is, what I learned is like people didn't care. Like I remember there was one time my internet was like, just for whatever reason, the signal was just not working that day. And despite the fact that my desktop was like plugged in, like, hardwired into my drop and everything, like nothing was working. Like I could barely stream. And then someone's just like, hey, we still want to see you tonight, so just get on your phone. And I'm like, really? And I was like, okay. So I just got on my phone and I streamed, with my cell phone through my own, provider, and people were just happy with that. And so I was just really surprised. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess I really don't need all this other stuff. And, they just really wanted to see me and just wanted to hear from me. And the other stuff was, I mean, it's nice, but that's not what they're there for. So, yeah.
Everything else is just frosting, just your content is cake. Although I will say whipped cream frosting by far superior, almost better than the cake. I don't know if that's a hot take or not.
I
think that is a hot take.
I'd like to hear from the audience. What's
Yes.
the best kind of frosting? Because maybe
Nice pivot.
maybe it's a different kind. And I like that Andy. I do love what you said, CK, but people just want you to show up. And Andy also agreed and said people turn up for the person, not the tech. So that's why we have people who are still here and saying, please never take this stream down. Sammy says anything is fine with me. Actually, let's ask Sammy, since it is your birthday today, what is your favorite type of cake? I'm really curious. I'm genuine. And are you going to have cake? Are you a cake person? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're more of a pie person.
Pie person?
CK, are you cake or pie?
Ooh, I'm not a huge sweets person, so
Really?
like, no, I'm not. I don't like sugar's never really been like a huge thing for me.
Man.
But I'm like, if it's cake, it's got to be like, it can't be too sugary. Like I like the cake part of it. I'm not a huge frosting fan unless like the frosting's just a little bit of a sugar. Like I don't like really sugary frostings. So yeah, I usually will scrape off the actual frosting of the cake and eat the cake.
Okay. So are you what are you then? Like a sour person or
salt.
Mom? Oh, it's salt.
Like chips. Yeah, give me salt. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. So like nachos.
Yes. Nachos. Lay's potato chips, all those kind of things.
You know what? So here, you're a
Uh-oh.
chip sore. Recently had Cheetos. Realized those not bad. Haven't had them forever. What do you think? Cheetos thoughts?
Okay, you scared me for a moment when you're like, I haven't had Cheetos. I'm like, ever? And then you said like in a while. So then I was like, oh, okay. But no, I love Cheetos. Cheetos are
Never had-
great.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Cat is muted. So
Yep, because that's how we go. So, I have a very important Cheeto question. This needs to be heard. Puffy or crunchy?
Wait, puffy Cheetos or crunchy Cheetos?
Yeah, there's puffed and there's crunchy.
What? Is
yeah,
there?
that's a tough one because the puffy ones very much remind me of like the old like cheese puffs as a kid. Like I go like it's a tie for me.
Oh,
Honestly, it's a tie for me. I like them both, and I don't know if I could put one over the other.
I'm crunchy all the way.
Yeah,
Gotta be
I'm gonna have
crunchy. If I'm gonna have a Cheeto.
what puffed is. Yes, crunchy, absolutely.
Okay, so you are familiar, Paul, because for a while you had me concerned that you've never heard of a crunchy Cheeto.
Well, I had to think for a second. See, I just call them Cheetos. I don't, I just see a Cheeto as like that's a Cheeto. But I see what you're saying is crunchy, and I see what you're saying is puffed. Had to think about it. Now I have a visual, crunchy all the way, 100%.
And I see Mario saying hot Cheetos. Hold on.
Ooh, no, hot Cheetos. I don't like hot Cheetos.
Does that mean like caliente or like warmed Cheetos?
Oh, I think he means like sexy,
Caliente.
like real attractive Cheetos. Like you look at it and you're like, damn, I got to get with that Cheeto. Is that what you mean, Mario? I think so.
I was thinking
This is-
warm,
this
like
is when we
temperature
need
hot Cheetos.
Oh my goodness! No,
Not
we're talking
spicy.
like the flaming hot Cheetos, as in the spicy ones. And no, I'm not a big fan of them because I can't like eat a lot of them. Like I'm like one or two, and I'm like it's just too. It's not that it's so much that it's hot. It's just like the seasoning like destroys my tongue, and so I'm like a few of them, and I'm done.
That's great. Yeah, you're looking for volume. You want the mass amount of Cheetos I can eat. This is slowing down my consumption. I get it.
Yes, I'm there for the calories, okay, not the taste.
Yeah. Sexy
You want me to-
Cheetos. Oh, guys, this is awesome. I feel like so many memorable things like sexy Cheetos and flaming hot Cheetos. Okay. Paul, any other questions that we want to ask CK while she is with us on today's stream and has stuck in with us through this whole thing, which thank you. You are taking this like a champ because not everyone would. This would stress a lot of people out. Just saying.
No.
Well, I'm here for the Canadian accent, so yeah.
Oh, sure.
What are you talking about? Oh, that didn't take much. I wasn't even trying to change it.
The problem.
Process.
The process. Process. What I am curious, what are you planning on doing in the future with your streaming? Are you thinking about kind of like trying new stuff or I'm just kind of curious where you're thinking about going with it.
Yeah, I definitely want to try new stuff. It's just right now my plate's a little bit full, like planning for retirement. So I'm, trying to do my best at time management, which I'm not really, the greatest at. Because especially when it's stuff I'd rather procrastinate on, which is retirement stuff, and work on the fun stuff. It's like a fight between like, what my heart wants to do and what my brain needs to do. And so as much as like all the ideas like, ooh, I should do this, I'm like, okay, let's just pause. Let's put a break, like write it down, put a little note somewhere. But like we got other things I need to focus on right now. But yeah, there's definitely like ideas are certainly like percolating like in my mind of, where do I take it next? Do I add additional segments or, branches from this? Yeah, definitely. For sure.
Are you? Because I know we have made it through this entire conversation. We have talked about Cheetos. But we have not talked about one of the things you love that has just come out. It's in season 2. Have you thought about adding like a Mandalorian chat section, a breakdown of episodes?
I have definitely thought about that. And I mean, I certainly would want to, but I definitely need other people to have like the chat with, because it's a little hard to have like a one-on-one conversation. And when we were in VMix, I did have it set up to like bring in randomly a GIF of Baby Yoda sipping over my image, but of course that kind of fell through. So, but I was just gonna have them like randomly pop up.
Oh, I ruined your.
But yeah,
I'm sorry. That's too bad.
no, you didn't ruin it. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, definitely, I would love to do that. I think you and I have talked about like, hey, we should have what Baby Yoda Chatina, right? Is that what we were gonna call it?
Yeah, get that name. That is a great Baby Yoda Chatina. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And Kat just started watching Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And is that because of like all the hype, or like what made you watch?
Yeah, I was explaining to Paul that I got a little bit of flack in my home for this. So I live with a pretty hardcore Star Wars fan. We have action figures in their packages around the house out.
Oh, in their package.
Oh, they're in their packages. Yeah.
Oh, gotta keep those in mint.
Well, they're not. Not every single thing is sealed. Like they're.
Love it.
We had there is a. When we were in Australia 5 years ago, I think it was 5 years ago, maybe 6. Phil stumbled across I guess it was from a San Diego Comic-Con limited release. It was Han and Carbonite, and we just stumbled across it in this random department store in, I think it was Sydney. And so he bought that. And so it was a black box, and it actually had sort of the Boba Fett, but it's actually a really good looking. Maybe I'll be able to bring it on the stream one day and show everyone. And that one is open so he can see Han and Carbonite, because otherwise it would just be a black box with a Boba Fett silhouette. So anyway, the point of the story is that I live with a pretty big Star Wars fan, and last year he got Disney Plus so that he could watch The Mandalorian, and I kind of treated it like one of the offshoots. Like there's a lot of animated series related to Star Wars, there are a lot of books and novels related to Star Wars, so I just don't usually pay attention if it's not one of the main movies or releases or whatnot. And I knew there was some hype about it, but I was like, I think it's about Boba Fett maybe. Oops. Anyhow, so I didn't know, and I didn't watch it. And then as it was coming up again, and a lot of people who I've now made a lot of friends over the last few months during quarantine, and they were talking about their excitement. And actually, CK, you're a good example. You have I think Baby Yoda's adorable, but I just had never watched it. So I decided to check out the first season, I don't know, a week and a half ago, basically the day before the first episode. So I watched that on the Thursday, and then Friday I was having a bit of a low energy day, and I just watched the rest of the first season all in a row. I just crushed the entire thing so that on Friday night we could watch the first episode together. But he said, "Why all of a sudden?" And I said, "Well, a lot of my new friends are talking about it." And he's like, "Oh, I get it. Okay. If they say it's cool, then you can go watch it. But if I think it's cool, it's just not good enough." So I got a little bit of flack for that, and I understand. And sometimes it takes a third party, someone we're not super close to say, yeah, maybe I will check out that thing. So that's my Mandalorian story.
I was hoping that you were going to say you were in the back alley of Sydney and somebody sold you.
Oh.
In Han Solo, because you're like, we were in Sydney and we just found this Boba Fett in Han Solo and Carbonite. It was like, was there a dealer in some back alley?
No. It was a legit just department store. It was really random, and it was specifically from a San Diego Comic-Con, a limited release. Like they only had so many, and it was just in this in this department store. So I can't remember I don't know. I don't think we have any Australians in our stream right now watching, but I can't remember the name of it. But it's a really big, anyhow, I can't remember the name of it, but that was the story. And he recently actually opened it up again and showed somebody. And it was notable. Yeah. So
I picture a giant vault that he like turns and like slowly releases it.
Maybe something I could do for an upcoming stream if we leave the studio is take you on a little mobile walk and show some of if I get permission. If I get permission. I don't want to just go showing the goods without permission, but they're not in a vault. No.
That's a cool story, though. I like that. I do. That's a very, it's very true, though, about being like, third party sometimes is what it takes. Because, I mean, I think we all did it with our parents, too. Our parents would tell us to do stuff, and then it's like, no. And then someone else randomly, you're like, oh, yeah, I should. And they're like, I literally have told you that. And you're like, whatever.
Or we've been on the other side of that. I'm sure that's happened with you before, too, where you are really excited about something and you tell people and they're like, oh yeah, sure. And then they learn about it from someone else and then they decide to get into it. And you're like, that's what I was telling you all along. So I think we've all been there, but that's how it happened. And so now I'm caught up.
Good. That's great. Did you like the most recent episode then?
So I don't know if this is so earmuffs for anyone who hasn't seen it. Not a fan of spiders. So
yeah.
I was looking down for parts of it, but I did like the cheekiness of Baby Yoda during this episode.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh no, man, I was the same way. Well, as soon as the spiders came on, I'm like, oh no, why?
Yeah. It was rough for me.
They had also earmuffs again. If we took them off, slap those bad boys on. In fact, turn this episode off because we're going to talk for a few seconds more about it. Kim's Convenience guy was one of the X-Wing fighters.
Oh, okay.
That was dead.
So you know what's funny? I was like, God, that guy is so familiar. Why do I know that actor? He's Canadian. Oh, now I'm embarrassed. Or at least he's in a Canadian TV show, which means he's most likely Canadian.
Yeah.
I like that you know Kim's Convenience.
I love Kim's Convenience. It is such a nice go-to. Oh, I could talk more about Kim's Convenience.
Well, isn't one of the guys from Kim's Convenience now in Marvel?
Oh, the brother? I could totally
see the hot one. I don't. Full disclosure, I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes.
Probably the brother, or the older mom.
Help us out in the chat if anyone knows what we are talking about. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's in Eternals or if he's in one of his own. No, he's in his own. He's like a lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he could be an Eternals lead. I mean, there's.
No, I think it's a different one. I think I'm mixing it up.
Andy, anyhow. I think you can take your earmuffs off now. I think they're done talking. Baby,
but they can't hear us without earmuffs.
Oh, yeah. Which, if you're wearing them, you probably don't even know what we're saying right now. So just pop those
take them off.
Pop them off. And now you can listen.
Nice.
I don't know. Do we have people watching still? I'm just doing. This is just fun now.
Yeah.
I think we've got a couple of people here.
Yeah. Oh, good. There was some questions about the Carbonite Han Solo. Is it full sized?
Oh.
My comments are not updating at all, so I apologize. I haven't been checking in with comments.
Is it full? Well, okay, wait. Full size, like Han size? Because no.
It's like if one of us like dressed as a Jabba,
yay big. The box holding, and it's not just Han. I think maybe Chewie might be in Carbonite as well. Is it Han and Chewie? I'm gonna have to. We'll come back. I don't want to go run and go figure it out now, but I will. I promise to come back and we can return to this, and maybe I'll get permission to show it because it seems like we have some Star Wars fans in the audience.
CK,
oh yes, definitely.
I don't think the Wookiee was ever in Carbonite.
No, I don't think so. Right?
No.
But there's more than one in that pack. Oh, now I'm genuinely curious.
There's lots of Wookiees out there.
But I mean,
you
it
know,
would make sense if Wookiee's with him.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, a Wookiee probably wouldn't be walking with Boba Fett unless a Wookiee sold him out to Boba Fett. But I don't think that's
Well,
canon.
yeah, and why is Boba Fett on the front of the box? Deep questions.
More questions than answers in another episode of Are We Live Now?
Oh. Okay. Oh, he put him in. Yeah, because Boba Fett would have put him in carbonite, right? To transport him?
Yes, that part's true.
Okay. There we go. Thank you,
City.
Andy.
Glad we cleared that up.
This is really. It's very important stuff.
Who were like the little creatures that like ran around and like actually created the carbonite process? It wasn't Boba Fett, but they took advantage of it on Cloud City. Anyways, I don't know. We'll look that up.
Now it's time to go rewatch the whole entire series.
The whole thing.
No, well, you have to. You can't just like randomly pick up like in the middle. So no, you gotta go through the whole thing. Yeah. No.
Now, I know that we are coming towards time, and I feel like, Dr. Elo, he said goodbye a little bit earlier because he has his stream, and we like to try and respect and kind of encourage our live viewers to go over and check out Dr. Elo's stream. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Trello today, which it's a fun one. I've played around with some Trello in the past. So, Paul, is there anything that you'd like to say? I know that I am grateful, CK, for you being here today, being our guest on the day that everything kind of fell apart. Also for bringing your own entrance music. That was actually amazing. Not offensive in any way. Actually amazing and helped us out a bunch.
I don't have anything. CK, this has been so much fun. Thank you for hanging out, answering questions, going down every rabbit hole question we had. This was a blast.
Yeah, I love this. This is good. We should definitely do it again. And you guys are doing great. I love your segment. This is great. I love it.
Thank you.
Great.
And so we'll spend one quick minute. Paul and I, we're just planning this on the fly. We're going to transition. So thank you, CK, for joining us. We are going to round out. Yeah. Yay. Yes. That was awesome. I'm super grateful for that. So very quickly, so that we can wrap up on time, what is ahead for you? What are you planning towards aside from fixing your audio? What else is on the docket?
That is on the docket. Finally streaming on Twitch. I know I've been saying that for weeks. I'm actually going to test Twitch this week, which I'm excited about. And finally, I just wanted to make a suggestion. There is a great site out there. He's really a good speaker and an interesting guy, and he wants to help you be a better streamer. Tom Buck, he's on YouTube, and he's really got great deep dives into tech, and he's a really likable guy who's exploded in popularity. And I think he's a good example of like what you can do on YouTube and grow with the right personality. Also, real quick on Twitch, I want to give a shout out to a channel called Quirky Pixel, which is super fun, very relaxing. She's very positive. And third, real quick, if you have an Amazon Prime, go help somebody on Twitch. Go there, and every month with Amazon Prime, you're given a free month to subscribe to anybody. Every month. You just have to resubscribe to somebody, and that helps small streamers. So
that's so cool.
It's great. And you can go help them out. And if you like, you can resubscribe a month later. But every month you're given a free Twitch subscription with your Amazon Prime. And you get to bypass all the commercials that way. So that's what I'm working on. How about you?
That's really cool. I actually, okay, wait, quick question. Tom, what's his channel? I feel like you shared that with me. Did he just do a 40,000 celebration stream? Am I thinking the right guy?
It was 40 or 50, yeah. So it used to be called something else, but he changed it to his name. So now if you just look up Tom Buck, it's about 50,000 or 40,000 subscribers. Yeah, okay. You're right.
I think I might be familiar with who you're talking about. And yes, very likable. And if it's not, there's another guy that you shared who's really likable. So my update, as I have mentioned a couple of times, I've been trying to figure out what's going on with my regular Wednesdays. I took a couple of weeks off from that. And that's not fully baked yet, but I had a new idea that I thought I would share here. This is very new.
Oh, exclusive content.
Exclusive. I actually started a Twitch account after our conversation with Jess a couple of weeks ago, sharing about her experience on Twitch and all of the things they do to engage with people. I thought, oh man, that's amazing. But my instinct was, I don't do anything Twitch worthy. You know, she's an artist, they're gamers, all this stuff. But then I had an idea. So as you might be aware if you're watching, I'm a bit of a nerd. And I like to geek out and talk about movies and TV and pop culture and all that stuff. I also like to knit. And I was like, I think I could have a camera on knitting while we just nerd out about pop culture. I don't know if it'll fly, but I kind of want to try it. And let me know what you think in the comments. I've told a few people who don't stream and aren't familiar with Twitch, and they kind of go, oh, that's interesting. But, you know, I don't know. I kind of like it. Something about it feels good. So that's what I am thinking about. And that would just be a personal project. It is not related to work. But my Twitch name is My Happy Insides just because I needed to pick something. I may change it later, but yeah, that's my update.
I think it's a great idea. I love the idea. I think it will fly for sure.
Oh, CK, thank you. She says, yes, you should do that.
Oh,
fantastic.
Cool.
That's what, and every time Paul would bring up, are we live now on Twitch? I would always cringe and go, eh. Oh, I think for now we'll be on YouTube, but yeah, I'm going to explore Twitch a little, and that's an exciting update, I think.
Cool. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it.
Yeah.
We're thinking about Twitch. Cool.
And yes, CK, you're going to have to get a Twitch account. That's just the obvious answer. All right. We did it. We got through the show.
We made a full episode.
We did it. Yay.
Yay. Right. Well, thanks for watching. Next week, do you want to mention what we're talking about? It's different.
Oh, it is different. Yeah.
It is different.
It is.
So, next week, we're deep diving. We're going to get it all fixed by next week. We're deep diving into the tech we use, like specifically, hey, here's all the pieces of tech that we use, and here are links if you want to go use any one of those. So it's going to be like a behind the scenes and a real deep dive into all our stuff, from our webcams to our Sonys to our, everything. So
teleprompter. Yeah, so the idea is, because I think a lot of people are getting excited for upcoming deals, given that it's the holiday season and there's Black Friday or Cyber Monday or all that stuff, we thought we'll share what it is that we are using and answer your questions about our tech, what we like, what we don't like, and that would just be a fun thing. So that's next week, so we don't actually have a guest. We're just going to share behind the scenes, and I think we agreed we're going to do some live, like show you behind the scenes live, correct? I think that's what we decided?
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. For sure.
Okay. Sweet. Do we want to mention? Oh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think JV wants to mention our guest on November 25th.
Oh,
Oh, Paul, you're frozen.
wait. Oh no! I almost made it the whole time.
Almost made it.
I look very thoughtful.
Yeah, you do.
I look like somebody maybe just broke into the house, and I'm realizing, oh no, I got to defend myself now.
Yeah.
So, rather than try to fix it, we'll just mention a little amazing live streamer called JV. You might know him. Will be joining us on the 25th of November, which
you know him, you love him, and he will be our next official guest. All right, Paul's frozen. We got through this. It was a ride. It was a real ride. Thanks for joining us for the ride, for those of you. And if you're watching on replay and you made it this far, thank you. Please leave a comment. and share that you made it through this entire replay. We would love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our little show. We really appreciate it.
See you guys later.
Bye.